Hello everyone, this is Plankera, and welcome to my universe. Today, I'm going to continue rigging Shalom from Path to Nowhere. For some reason, I could not actually remember what I did yesterday. That happens sometimes. But, I think I'm good. When I say that happens sometimes, I do legitimately mean that happens sometimes. So I know I was just doing left head turns and I was gonna line things up at the top at some point. So I will just look at these left turns a little bit more and fix up kinda this area on the lower left still. I think that's where I left off. Based on how good everything in the upper left and regular left, I guess. Look. The couch was just extra comfy this morning. I nearly fell asleep on it again, and now I'm still a little bit groggy. It's okay, I'm sure I'll bounce back soon. But, speaking of grogginess, I had a really cute dream last night. Not while I was trying really hard not to doze off on the couch, but while I was actually sleeping. For whatever reason, Cat had kittens in our window well, and this is just a dream, fortunately, so there were no scary implications there, and the cats and the kittens were very friendly, and they just wanted to be snuggled and petted the whole time. And my son was in it, and he was so happy to see all these tiny kittens that just wanted to climb all over him. It was probably one of the cutest dreams I've had in a long time. It was so stinking cute. Just all these all these cats doing very uncat-like things. And it made me very happy. It really did. I just woke up with the biggest smile on my face. Just had me feeling a little bit sad that it wasn't real, but also, I mean, I already knew cats don't act like that, so of course it wasn't real. So they were just rolling around, having a good time, and the mom did not care at all that we were playing with the babies. And the babies were totally okay with being played with. It was a very cute dream, but I'm glad that there were no cats in my window well in real life, because they would not be able to get out, and that would not be fun. I'd feel bad for them. A couple of years ago, we actually did get some baby bunnies that got stuck in our window wells, and it could have been an issue if we hadn't noticed, but fortunately they were trying their very best to jump out, so I kept hearing all these sounds coming from the windows. It was actually really scary at first until I just realized that there were little baby bunnies stuck in the window wells. But yeah, for about a week, I want to say, there were these sounds at night, just scraping against the window. It was really, really creepy. Just be there in the dark trying to eat, and suddenly all this thrashing and scraping against the windows. Took me a couple of days to work up the courage to actually go look. So I thought I might have been hearing things, because it typically went away as quickly as it came. meanwhile, on the rigging front, I'm just trying to get the curve along this area to be looking pretty good. And I noticed that on the highlight there's this little dark area right here. And I noticed that that was a little bit high up, so I'm moving the vertices down a little bit, and I also think that there's a little dent right over here. I think that's also a little bit too high. So I'm gonna move that in a sec, but first, I just want to make sure that this spot that I just adjusted and kind of everything below it too. So yeah, I can see that these little highlights here are also, they're squirming. They're squirming quite a lot, actually. So I'm kind of getting everything down here into place first. Alright, I think we're getting somewhere. I'm definitely gonna have to do a bunch of little adjustments here, because I see that the outside is also not quite right. And I mean, to be fair, I just moved a whole bunch of vertices that were connected to the outside, so it makes sense that it'd be a little bit off. But it's alright, I'll gradually go guide these vertices into place. There's always a little bit less to talk about when I'm doing kind of more detailed stuff like this. It's because there's only so many different ways I can say, those highlights, they're squirming, and I need to fix it. Personally, I do like getting into the details there. I think it just makes everything look so nice. Oh yes, one thing that I am interested in trying, though. There's going to be a new Inochi2D patch tomorrow, and I was thinking of playing it on stream. Doing that for, you know, one or a couple of days, instead of doing some rigging. And as much as I would miss doing the rigging, it might be nice to have a change of pace occasionally, because I've been at this for a while. And while I'm definitely getting close to the end, I think it's still going to be a little bit before I get there. And that's just for head turns. That's not including body stuff, even if I am planning on keeping the body fairly straightforward. So yeah, I've been struggling to find time to properly play some of the Inochi2D patches, so I thought it'd be fun to do it on stream. I've already got a lot of that set up. I've tested a bunch of stuff. Just need to do some sound balancing. Make sure that everything sounds good and that people will be able to hear me. But yes, the new patch... Can I say that it looks interesting? I think the theme looks interesting. I just don't trust the writing in this game anymore. But I do like wandering around and finding things, so I've always had fun with that, even in the patches that I haven't been super impressed with. I have at least had fun running around and exploring, and doing that with you all sounds like a good time too. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what they do, and if they get, I guess, closer to the kind of features that I'd be interested in having in a game like this. I don't plan on pulling for the new 5-star dress, though. I probably will pull for the 4-star one on the same banner, but I'm not super interested in the 5-star one. It's a little bit more on the frilly and cutesy side, for my taste. 4-star one, though, I think is great. It's been really interesting that I have not really been interested in any of the 5-star outfits so far. I've been way more interested in the free ones. Like, I've thought that their free outfits have actually been really good, and I've really liked a few of the 4-star ones as well. But none of the 5-star ones have quite hit the mark for me yet. Like, they're pretty, but they're not, like, I must liquidate all of my resources to get this. And I'm okay with this, because the 4-star sets are much more obtainable for me, because I am free to play. I do not intend to spend money in this game. For me, it's just kind of a fun little diversion, and I can think of many things that would improve my life more than buying a digital dress in a video game. So, I will probably not be spending money on it. I do not spend money on gacha stuff in general. Like I said, I can just think of many things that I could do with that money. That would do more for my life overall. And that tends to be how I approach spending money. I am basically allergic to spending money. And honestly, that allergy to spending money, I think, has been great for my life overall, because I've managed to achieve a great deal of financial stability and all of that. So I can just kind of do what I want, and I do not have to be desperate for jobs or money or anything. Like, I calculated it out, and can actually make enough money to pay all my bills and whatnot off of, like, plasma donation. Alright, I think I'm getting the lower part of this bang looking pretty good, so I'll be moving up into the upper part soon. I guess I should also check over here. I didn't notice any big things squirming, but considering how small some of the details that I am working on now are, I suppose it'd be good to check very explicitly now that I've kind of finished up what I was doing there. So sure, I'll go take a look over on this side for just a little bit. And I know that I'm not running things horizontally just yet. That's like super evident when I run across the top here. I mean, look at what the top of the front bang does when I go slide. Just goes down and then rise. It just floats on upward. Okay. Yeah, I actually do think over here is looking pretty good. It looks like I just need to clean up this line here. I remember that I got very, very tired at the end of yesterday. Might also be related to why I don't quite remember what I was doing. It sounds kind of bad when I put it like that. Like, I just do not quite remember what I worked on yesterday or what I was doing. But I don't think it's all bad, honestly. Because I've mentioned that I like going into a new drawing or rigging session with a fairly fresh mind, so that this way I can spot any mistakes that I've made or things that I want to change. And when I don't actually quite remember what I did, I am more able to scrutinize things and really, really look at how things actually look without getting caught on, you know, what I think I should be looking at or double-checking what I did yesterday specifically. Basically, it makes my perspective really, really fresh. And the fact that I didn't see very many problems when I was looking around was actually pretty nice, because it meant that, you know, things are looking pretty good. They're looking pretty good. I can't see them with the... I wouldn't exactly say an empty head, but a head that wasn't quite sure what to look at, and just kind of looked everywhere. I do think that bodes very well. Little strand coming off here is bothering me, so I'm actually going to adjust him to... It's like way down here, right? Yeah. There we go. Yeah, that's a bit better. And on this turn, it should definitely be going up a little bit higher, so I will fix it here too while I'm thinking about it. Yeah, that seems a little bit better. Let me squish it together a little bit more. It feels like it's being stretched out a little. So I'll just squish. Squish. There we go. And now I just need to kind of even out the vertices after I adjust my foot, because it's fallen asleep. The spot that I keep wanting to put my foot seems to be right on top of where the blood comes in, so it falls asleep real fast if I do it wrong. Okay, yeah, once I get the very tip of that to look right, I think this is a job for consulting the mesh. See how it's being pulled. Okay, yeah, these are supposed to be quite far apart. On a lot of my other strands, they're not quite that far apart, so I was a little bit surprised. That's okay, that's why we consult the mesh. The mesh knows what's going on at the triangles. So it can give me very, very valuable information. Stuff that I may not notice very well on my own. Now I kind of need to slide some more things a little bit further up, so... That's alright. We'll just push all the vertices up together. So when you see me go and just select all the vertices like that, I'm moving them around with my keyboard instead of with the mouse. Most of the time I use the mouse for things, but for that specifically, it's like, yes, that is done with my arrow keys. Okay, call that good for now. Let's go back to that front bank. So this way I can start getting into stuff over there, but I honestly think over here looks pretty good. Nothing I really want to change. But the only thing that I saw in that area that I was kind of unsatisfied with was pretty much on every left turn there's this little strand that comes out there, and I kind of wish I could make it disappear. But with how it's meshed, just not an option. Hello there, Yeji Kitty. Ah. My foot fell asleep. Now it feels a little bit tingly. Alright, so I suppose I'll get right back into this highlight area. I wouldn't know either. I've never owned one. Although, like I said, if this is about your parents doing stuff that you don't really like, probably better not to fight them on it. Sometimes you just kind of gotta deal. It's a bit unfortunate. Not all the things they do are always right or fair, but they are still ultimately your parents, and fighting them will just lead to bad outcomes all around. It's like you can try to talk to them about it. Try to understand where they're coming from. And I do put it like that instead of trying to convince them that you're right. Just try to understand where they're coming from, and maybe you can work something else out together. But, yeah. That is kind of my opinion on that. There's only so much you can do. Oh, that's good. That actually is pretty fortunate. It is a sign that they're willing to trust you. Oh no. Yeah, getting eyelashes in your eyes is the worst. Good, I feel like the top of this highlight is actually coming together pretty well. Been pretty easy to move everything. Just gotta slide a few things down, and then I think all should be well. Okay, yeah, there we go. I think that's looking pretty alright. I'm just looking at this highlight right here now, and I'm wondering if it's moving a little bit too far down. Maybe just a little. But mostly I think it looks fine. I actually think I see a little bit more squirming in the line that's kind of on top of it, rather than the highlight itself. So I won't move it too much, but I will move that line back up just a little. The edge over here all seems pretty good. I adjusted that a little bit earlier, so glad to see that everything is still okay. Okay, and I can see that I definitely have to adjust some stuff through here, but I think the front bank itself is okay. So let's go ahead and look at the top part here. And then I'll start trying to align things over there. across the top. Gonna do one section of hair at a time here, rather than one angle. I just kind of want to do everything together. I think that worked really well with the side bang here that I was working on, so I'm gonna keep doing that. Fortunately, it looked like most of the issues there was just a whole bunch of vertices that needed to be pulled down a bit, although it is going a little bit high. Yeah, I think I need to flatten things right through here just a little bit. And then it should be okay. A little bit smaller. Okay, yep, I think that is a good spot for it. Now I just kind of need to thicken this part here. So that means I need to pull the vertices apart from each other a little bit. So we're going to squish this area together just a little bit here. Because I want this shadow to be a little bit thicker on this angle. I think it'll show that we're seeing it from the top a little bit more. Whereas if I keep the line a little bit thinner on the bottom here, it'll be like this highlighted area is kind of sitting on top of that shadowed area and causing the shadow to be a little bit thinner. So we see a little bit less of it. All right, starting to look pretty good. Man, I look forward to just getting this entire area, like, perfect. I look forward to working on it a little bit more. I just really love working on those areas that can make the entire thing look a little bit more three-dimensional. It's just so fun moving her head around when it looks more three-dimensional. Very good time. Makes the entire process worth it. Okay, I think I actually might have pulled it down a little bit too far there. That's good. I thought I was moving it a lot, so... But it also looked like it needed to be moved a lot. So let's try to smooth some things out here. This was the gap that I was worried about the most. I was afraid that it was getting a little bit big. How big is it normally? Yeah, not that big. So let's try to smooth that out just a little bit here, and then I'll go check it again. Alright, yeah, that's definitely better. I think I want to poof out up here just a little bit. Nothing drastic. But I think making this strand right here just look a little bit thicker will really make it look like her head is tilted down. Make it look like we're seeing more of the top of her hair. So I want to get those little details right too. Just all the little things that can make her head look a little bit more three-dimensional. So I'm probably going to be going back and forth and trying to balance a bunch of things. Mostly, so right now I'm trying to get into the shape of the curve. It was mostly in the right spot. I felt like some places were a little bit flatter than they should be, so that's what I was adjusting there. This highlight was a little bit too high, so I want to adjust that. And I wanted the top of the head here, or the top of the strand. Like, it needs to be flat, but I wanted it to be just a little bit higher up. So the things that I'm looking at now are very, very small. But I do think that they make a difference. I actually think they make a pretty big difference once they're all grouped together. And there's these tiny, tiny little shadows on this area, and I'm trying to get them into the right spot too. They're kind of hard to see, but it's like right through here. Yet the shadows kind of dig in to that strand just a little bit through there. So those are the kinds of things that I'm looking at right now. And now I feel like the angle here is a bit off, so I need to go bring that back. And then more with those tiny little shadows. They are tiny, but I do see them. So I want to make sure that they're happy and in good spots too. So finding the right spot to put the edge of that is actually surprisingly hard. I might stay zoomed in for that for a sec, assuming that this is sufficient perspective, just because I'm my scroll finger is getting tired. Okay, this seems okay. I will have to zoom out at some point, but like I said, my scroll finger was getting a little bit tired, so I wanted to see how much I could make out from right there. And that seems fine. So let's see what it looks like with her chin actually in the picture, so I can see how much her head is moving up and down a little bit. I think it makes sense for it to look like it's being pulled a little bit, so yes, I do actually think that is good. In fact, I think most of this is looking good. I don't think that there's very many things that I need to fix. But the only thing I saw was that... So there's this red line here. I just needed to fix the angle of it, so this way it went more underneath this little strand running across the front of her bangs there. Okay. I do still need to fix this curve a little bit, though. Curve and not curving quite right. For some reason, this reminded me of when I was learning how to drive. I remember the first day that my dad took me to an empty parking lot to move the car around a bit so I could try it. Have you ever had that effect of where you're just looking at something? You see it there. You know it's there, but because you're looking at it so hard, it's all you can see, and you don't see any of the empty space around it. That was a light pull for me there, and I almost ran into it. I did, you know, actually manage to turn the steering wheel and get out of the way for a second there, but I just felt like a deer in headlights. There was this big old street light in the parking lot. And... It actually took me a second to realize that, hey, you really got to get out of the way. You see the street light there. It is right there. It's right there, right in your face. But for whatever reason, I was staring at it so intently and recognizing it as a big a threat, and I just kind of froze for a second, and all I could see was the street light. And none of the space around it. So... one of those weird little brain things. Brains are weird. They really are. It's funny, this is the first angle that I have not really been happy with the highlight on it. The highlights on all the other ones have looked pretty good, but there's just something weird about this one. It's not quite coming together quite as smoothly as the other ones. It's funny because I actually do like the way that it crawls up her bang there and gets a little bit larger. I think that looks good, so I'm not quite sure what it is that I'm seeing. But something is not quite checking out here. Adjust my legs again. Sorry for all the banging. My leg hit my keyboard tray. After I was ridiculously comfy on the couch for a while. I guess my body's just having trouble getting comfortable in a chair again. But that couch is just too dang comfy. Nothing quite compares to it. Something about this dark line there. Or it's just slightly darker. Okay, I actually think this is fine. Alright, cool. So I think that's front bang done across all of the left angles. So let's start lining it up at the top, because that's going to be a bit tricky. Like this entire thing needs to rise a little bit. Alright, well, nothing to do but get started. So I'm just going to take a big brush and move everything up. Straight up. In fact, I think this is even too small. Okay. I'm not sure if that's enough, but I'll start there. Okay, now that was enough. Good. Alright, now I can start maneuvering everything into place. I do think that amount of, even though I'm pushing things down a little bit now, I do think that amount of movement was necessary, because it's really only the very top that got pushed too high. All the stuff down here above the highlight actually needed to be moved that much. Now I can just work on getting the last couple of things into place here. Very, very carefully and gently. I'm not too worried about this little top part right now, but I do want it to be roughly in place, just so it's not squirming out the wazoo. Yeah, this is probably fine for now. Let me just adjust it a little bit up here. Like I said, just so it's not squirming out the wazoo. It doesn't even matter if it's right, as long as it matches up with the top turn enough that it won't bother me. Okay. Now I can kinda get started. I think everything is still lining up pretty well. So it's really just the top bits. And once I have that, then I can do the upper right, and then I'll go along the bottom, and I'll do the right turns last. Okay, and then I need to do the same over here, and on the side bank. And I'll go ahead and smooth everything out once I am satisfied with the location of everything. Just gonna be here trying to make this area look like it's being covered a little bit more by the front bang. I'm not sure if I have to floof out the front bang a little bit more. I might need to. We'll see. Alright, there we go. I feel like this is lined up quite nicely now. Now I just have to decide on how I want the front bang to move. I think it's good to be a little bit particular here. So I'll be trying some small movements and see how I like them. And how it looks relative to the center is the most important thing. Because after all, the center is where I have not modified anything at all. The center is just how it looks. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Now I just want to adjust a few things in the highlights, and I think that'll be good there. I'll be starting on the side bang, and I'll move into the front bang once I'm satisfied with where everything is here. The big thing that I'm noticing is at the center of the highlight, just like this part right here, and the little shadow underneath it is moving way, way far to the right. So I need to go push all that over to the left. keep clicking on the front peg there. My brain clearly wants to go back over there, but it's gotta wait a little bit. I want to finish this part first. Get all the tiny details right here. I just think that this area right around there is important because it adds a little bit more depth and 3D-ness to the head when it's done right. So I'm trying to really dig in and make sure that it is right on all of the angles. If it's wrong on one, that'll reduce the effect, and that would just be very sad. So I'll be watching it closely, and hopefully getting everything right where I want it to be. Alright, I think that's looking pretty good. How does it look relative to over here? 'Cause that's important too. But yeah, I think it's still looking pretty good relative to over here as well. Most excellent. Let me see. The edge of the front bang on the shadow here is fanning out a little bit more than it should. Let's push that back in. Alright, then I think I want to do the front bang here, and maybe even on the bottom turn. Just make sure everything's good there, and then I'll do the right turns tomorrow. So yeah, we'll see if I am able to get through both up and down today. It'd be super fantastic if I was able to. But I'm very happy with how things are going. Even though it seems a little bit slow sometimes, I think it's actually moving along pretty well. Just because, you know, the back parts aren't going to be quite as detailed here. The front always takes longer, and the fact that I've been able to get it across all angles this well, I think bodes very well for getting this done relatively soon. Unless I get distracted by playing video games on stream more often. I actually do have more plans for that, even beyond just doing the Infinity Nikki update coming. I was planning on waiting until I was ready to start multi-streaming on Twitch to really get into that, but, you know, it's fine. I feel like doing it right now, so let's do it. I'll put up a thread in the community tab, so if there is a kind of outfit that you want me to try to make at the start of stream, I will do so and we'll go explore in that. But otherwise, I have some ideas of my own. It's a princess-themed thing, and I just got myself the red Arosa red color recently. And that seems perfect for that. But I like the idea of having a prompt from chat, or the community at large, if there's something that you'd like to see me put together. That sounds pretty fun too. We can even do it in the middle of stuff. I have 4 slots and I don't mind overwriting all of them, so we can do quite a lot of derping around. I feel like games like that are at their best when you're just derping around, so I am fully willing to embrace that. Right now I'm just trying to get the angle on that shadow part just right there, because I feel like it's the only part that really has any problems. The highlight looks fine. Yep. And so now I think that looks pretty okay too. See, this is why I was pretty sure I could do the top and the bottom today. I didn't think that they'd have that many issues. I might still need to do a bit of adjustment up in the corner here, though. Because I did have to move that area quite a lot today. Honestly, it doesn't look that bad. Yeah, might just need to straighten out the highlight there just a tad. Like right here. Alright, I think the last thing I want to do is kind of thicken up that shadow at the bottom. I think it's just a little bit too thin. And then I will... Well, first I'll double check it against the upper left. But assuming all that is good, I can go on and finish up the lower head turn as well. It's very exciting. Getting all these super detailed parts out of the way so I can just have fun trying to make things a little bit more 3D. At some point I'm going to have to do the lower part of her hair. I know that some of the side bangs are a little bit wrong, but that'll be later. I want to get the top part done first. Okay, a little bit flatter on the top and maybe a little bit rounder on the upper left turn. But I think both of them might need just a little bit of adjustment. Upper left might be a little bit too flat, upper turn a little bit too round. Oftentimes things work out like that. I think it's true with people too. People are rarely entirely wrong or entirely right. Sometimes everything needs a little bit of adjustment. Okay, I think that's actually fine. Maybe... let's see. I say it's fine, but I think there might be just one tiny little thing that I can do here. Yeah, this little guy was just slightly out of alignment. And I could just kind of roughly see it, but I wasn't quite sure. Yeah, there we go. I think that looks pretty good. Okay, let's check the bottom. Bottom, honestly, looking pretty good. Wow. Is there anything I need to adjust? Yeah, just a little bit around here. But I think everything else looks great. Oh, that's wonderful. Okay, this is where I have to figure out which angle needs to change. I think it might actually be the lower left that needs to change a little bit, so I will do it from there. Let's see, the spot that I thought was the most off, there's like a spot right here that's just like slightly thicker than everything else, and on the lower left it looks like it's a bit high. So easy enough to fix, just slide the vertices down just a little bit. Try to make the gaps between them a little bit more uniform. All that good stuff. And then it should be fine. Alright, I think that looks really good. Excellent, so now I can really dig into the right turns tomorrow. Upper right, gotta be a thing. Look at that. It looks so silly. Just watch over here. Just... So, that'll be my task for tomorrow. The other turns aren't looking too bad, though. Just the upper right, really. I can go across pretty freely here. It's not here. Alright. So, almost done with this side part and this front bang, and then I can dig into all the stuff over here. So let's see. I kind of want to think about how I plan on doing all this, actually. So we got over here, we got over here. So next is going to be this area. This entire thing. So we have these guys, this tunnel, and probably the highlights to an extent too. After that, I'd like to get this tunnel. And then I think after that, I want to make sure that just the outside of her head is good. And maybe this tunnel. And this side too. Yeah. And then after that, I'll worry about kind of the back in here. Get all these good. I'm not going to worry about the over-the-shoulder hair until I do her body turns. So that'll come much later. And then to end it all off, I think I'll do her side hair right here. Just do that at the end of everything. And then I think the head turns will be done. I'll probably do one last pass over them at the very end, just to make sure that I am satisfied with everything. Knowing me, I'll probably want to change a couple of things, but they should be small. And I'll probably do another pass over her face as well, because like I'm still not sure if I like her eyes in the upper right turn, for example. Something about them still seems a little bit weird to me, which probably means that it's weird in the upper left too. I just don't see it quite as hard because this eye is covered up. But yeah, I'll take a look at all those things and we'll just start really touching her face up at the end. But for today, I think this is where I will be stopping. So thank you all for coming, and I hope you're able to create something wonderful today. I'll see you all tomorrow.